Let me tell you a painful truth most people never say out loud. When you lose interest in her, she doesn't feel it all at once. She slowly bleeds emotionally. It's not the silence that hurts first, it's the confusion. One day you're there, the next day you're distant, and she's left staring at her phone, wondering what she did wrong. She starts questioning her worth, her voice, her place in your life. And the scariest part? She never asks you directly at first, because deep down, she's terrified of the answer. If you've ever felt ignored, replaced, or emotionally abandoned, this is about you. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll not only understand how she feels, you'll understand your power, your value, and what never to tolerate again. Picture this. She sends you a message. Nothing dramatic, just a simple, "Did you eat?" Minutes pass, then hours. She tells herself, "He's busy." She makes excuses for you, but later that night, she sees you online, laughing, posting, living. And suddenly, her chest feels heavy. She rereads old messages, the ones where you replied fast, the ones where you cared. Now your replies are short, dry, cold. And she starts noticing patterns. You don't ask about her day anymore. You don't listen the same way. Your presence feels absent. She still smiles when you talk, but inside, she's shrinking. Because when someone pulls away emotionally, the person left behind doesn't just feel lonely, they feel replaceable. And here's what hurts the most. She doesn't miss you. She misses who she was when she felt chosen by you. That's the wound no one talks about. So today, I want to do something deeper than just explaining emotions. Today, I'm going to decode her thoughts. I'm going to share silent signs and mistakes that reveal what's happening in her mind the moment she realizes you've lost interest in her. Not to shame, not to blame, but to awaken awareness and power. Because once you understand this, you'll never settle for emotional crumbs again. Before she ever blames you, she blames herself. She wonders, was I too much? Did I say something wrong? Am I not interesting anymore? This comes from attachment theory. When someone with emotional investment feels distance, their brain searches for internal fault to regain control. Self-blame feels safer than rejection. If someone pulls away, don't immediately shrink yourself to keep them. Love does not require self-erasure. And the moment you start questioning your worth to keep someone, you're already losing yourself. Your tone changes. Your emojis disappear. Your good mornings stop. And suddenly, every detail becomes evidence. This is called hypervigilancia trauma response. Her nervous system is trying to protect her from abandonment. If someone makes you feel anxious instead of secure, your body is warning you. Peace is not boring. Confusion is not love. She becomes sweeter, more available, more understanding. She gives more, hoping you'll stay. This is people-pleasing, rooted in fear of loss. She believes love must be earned again. Real connection doesn't require performance. If you have to compete for attention, you're not in a relationship, you're in a negotiation. She talks, but you don't hear. She shares, but you don't respond. And slowly, she stops expressing herself. Emotional neglect triggers the same brain regions as physical pain. Yes, being ignored hurts. Never stay where your feelings are tolerated instead of valued. Your emotions deserve space, not silence. She stops expecting replies, stops initiating conversations, stops dreaming. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's bracing for impact. This is anticipatory grief. She mourns the relationship before it ends. When someone emotionally checks out, don't beg them to check back in. Let go with dignity. Your peace is worth more than closure. She looks in the mirror and wonders, why wasn't I enough? Rejection activates core wounds tied to self-worth. But here's the truth, someone's inability to love you is not proof that you're unlovable. Not every loss is a failure. Some are redirections. One day, she stops reacting, stops asking, stops hoping, and that's when it's truly over. Detachment is the brain's final defense. Once she disconnects emotionally, there's no going back. Never confuse silence with weakness. Sometimes silence means she chose herself. Now listen to me carefully. Her pain does not mean she is weak. Your pain does not mean you are broken. It means you care deeply. And caring deeply is not a flaw, it's a strength. But here's the shift. You don't chase someone who's walking away. You don't explain your worth to someone who stopped seeing it. And you never beg for the bare minimum. Their loss of interest is information, not a verdict. It tells you where not to invest your heart. The moment someone chooses distance, you choose self-respect. That's power. She blames herself before blaming you. She overanalyzes every small change. She tries harder to prove her worth. She feels emotionally invisible. She prepares for loss in silence. She questions her lovability. And finally, she detaches to survive. These aren't signs of weakness. They are signs of a heart trying to heal. And here's the truth I want you to carry with you. If someone can lose interest in you, they were never meant to hold your heart forever. You don't lose value when someone stops choosing you. You gain clarity, and clarity is the beginning of freedom. If this message spoke to your heart, if it made you feel seen, understood, or stronger, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us reach more hearts that need healing. Thank you for being here. And remember, you were never too much. You were just in the wrong hands. And let me tell you something even deeper, something most people never realize. When she feels you losing interest, she doesn't just lose you. She loses the version of herself that felt safe loving you. She becomes quieter, not because she has nothing to say, but because she's tired of saying things that don't matter to you anymore. She learns to sit with disappointment. She learns to swallow words. She learns how to smile while her heart is begging for reassurance. And this is where many people misunderstand her silence. They think she stopped caring. No, she stopped hurting out loud. Psychologically, this is called emotional withdrawal, a self-protection mechanism. When the brain realizes love is no longer reciprocated, it pulls energy away to survive. That's not weakness, that's resilience. And here's the truth you must understand. If someone losing interest breaks you, it's not because you were dependent, it's because you were emotionally honest. But honesty without boundaries becomes self-destruction. So if you ever feel this pain, pause. Ask yourself, am I loving someone who no longer chooses me? Am I shrinking to keep a connection alive? Am I abandoning myself to avoid being abandoned? Because the moment you start choosing your dignity over their attention, you heal. Healing doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop bleeding for people who won't hold you. And one day, you'll look back at this version of yourself and say, I survived emotional neglect. I learned my worth. And I never begged for love again. That is growth. That is power.